everyone, it's Darkseeker here again. Welcome back for another video. Now, we've had a few days to reflect on the Un'Goro expansion. And the deck we're looking at today is Dwayna's mid-range Jade Elemental Shaman. Now, I've already featured a similar deck on my channel a few days back. In fact, just after the expansion was released. It was Kolento's Elemental Shaman. Actually, it was one of my more popular videos. Had something like nearly 2,000 views and 20 likes within 48 hours. So, thank you very much for that. There was some really nice feedback from people on the video. One of the criticisms of the Kolento deck, however, was that it lacked card draw and it was very limited in terms of AoE. Only ran one copy of Maelstrom Portal. So this deck right here, Dwayna's mid-range Jade Elemental Shaman, aims to fix some of the criticisms of the Kolento deck. So what we've got in this deck is we have Untitled Totem. The Kolento version didn't run that. So we have card draw. Card draw can be very, very important, particularly if you get into the mid to late game. Untitled Totem, if it can be protected in some way, just gives you a stream of steady cards that stops you top decking, really, and just gives you the tools that you need at the right time. So if it can last for 2, maybe 3 turns, you get incredible value from the Untitled Totem. And this deck has double Lightning Storm and double Maelstrom Portal. Kolento's version only had one Maelstrom Portal. Why the increase in AoE? Well, if you don't draw well at the start of the game, if you don't draw a good curve, the AoE can actually get you back into the game. And it's particularly good against aggressive classes that play a whole load of low health, low attack minions at the start of the game. Maelstrom Portal with a bit of spell power can just swing the game back into your favour. So let's have a look at the Dwayna mid-range Jade Elemental Shaman deck in action on the standard mode ladder.
Begin for Doomhammer.
Okay, we're going up against a Hunter. Now we're at rank 8. It's a big improvement from where we were a few days ago. We were at sort of like rank 15, trying to head to rank 10. So we're at rank 8, which is pretty cool. My aim every season is to get rank 5 on standard mode and wild mode. Legend would be nice, but I just feel the grind to legend is too annoying. I've hit legend once before, and I was happy with that. I used Hunter, mid-range Hunter, strangely, last year, and I was cool with that. I don't feel the need, the want, or the desire to hit legend again. If I have the time, it would be nice, but having achieved it once, there's no real incentive for me now, so I'm happy to get to rank 5. Rank 5 is the most efficient when it comes to rewards at the end of a season, so that's my goal, that's my focus. And where possible, I try to get rank 5 on both wild and on standard mode, but sometimes that's not possible due to time constraints. I'm a casual player, so I try my best. Sometimes it doesn't work out. So against the Hunter here, we've got a very good early board. A very, very good early board. And he's utilising his hero power, which he thinks is a good thing, right? But look, I healed. I was able to heal and negate some of that value from that hero power. He clearly fears pirates. Unfortunately for him, I don't run any pirates. So, Fire Elemental is on the board. It's a 6/5. And I'm sorry, but a Jeweled Macaw, okay, a Jeweled Macaw with a kill command is pretty insane. And now look, all of a sudden, the board is looking a little bit more even. And he did some damage to my face. Well, that's fine. I'm just going to heal my face. And just play an elemental, you know, and that's it. I actually value having the minion on board, the one attack minion, so I'm going to use my face there, clearing his minion. Notice that the healing then in this deck from the Hot Spring Guardian is actually pretty good. Because one thing that Hunter relies on is sort of chip damage to your face with that hero power, and if they can do it consistently over the course of a game, before you know it, you're actually dead towards the end to things like kill command, you know, and charge-based huffers. So that hero power and just doing that damage consistently can be very, very important. It can be a game-winning strategy, but I was able to negate that strategy with 2 Hot Spring Guardians. Now, the Kolento version only ran 1 Hot Spring Guardian. This runs 2. And I actually think that's pretty important.
Melt away.
I'm debating here whether to go face or whether to trade. I'm actually going to trade. There's no reason here for me to go face, right? Look at my hand. I have Kalimos. I have a Taunt. I have Thing from Below. The Kolento version did not run Thing from Below. I run double Thing from Below. And again, that is to address the aggro in the meta. There's less aggro in the meta now than before, in the sense that there's fewer pirate warriors around. But there are still pirate warriors around, and pirate warrior is extreme aggro. So having Thing from Below in the deck, having double Hot Spring Guardian can mean the difference between surviving or not surviving. Wow, he's going wide here on the board because he wants to contest some of my board to the best of his ability, but unfortunately for him, look at what I've got here. I have Lightning Storm. Now, there was no need for me to roll for a Spell Power Totem because I had Fire Elemental to combo with it, and there we go, taking the board against a Hunter and winning. Felt good. Okay, let's have a look at this next game now. I'm going up against a warrior.
Victory or death for Doomhammer.
One of the things that upset me at this point was that I'd get 2 wins, and then on my 3rd matchup, I'd face a pirate warrior, and I'd get wrecked. Just because I didn't have the healing or the draws coming in on time. I didn't have a good early curve. And as I go up against this warrior here, you ask the question, is it a taunt warrior, is it a pirate warrior? Therefore I'm keeping the early game, and I'm keeping the Lightning Storm. Because I need things that I can do early to contest him. So AoE against pirate warrior is insane. It's not pirate warrior, it's the taunt warrior. And now I've got double Lightning Storm in my hand. Don't get me wrong, Lightning Storm is still potentially good against Taunt Warrior, but the problem is, when they play those big, heavy, high health taunts, Lightning Storm on its own is usually just not enough to deal with those minions, unless you can then trade things in from the board. That's an interesting card. It just gave me 3 Raptors. Now, if I had Hex here, right, if I had Hex, that'd be bad for him. Okay, so I'm forced to Lightning Storm. And that felt really bad because I was only getting value on 1 minion. But I had to Lightning Storm because I need to preserve some of my board, at least. Right.
I have an axe to grind.
Okay. More taunt minions, oh dear. That's 6 health. How do you get through 6 health? We have 2 hexes in this deck. We'll see what he does here. That's interesting. Okay. He values buffing his minion there. Even though those 3 minions of mine still survived, he still used the Ravaging Ghoul. That's really interesting. Okay, second lightning storm in play. This time it gets a little bit more value. It contributes to killing 2 minions, that's fine. We don't really have the presence on the board that we'd like right now. Those 3 minions, they do a bit of chip damage to his face, but they're not doing a huge amount. So we need to build up the board presence. That's one of the criticisms of Elemental Shaman. The previous versions of Shaman, before the expansion, would run Tunnel Trog and Totem Golem. Totem Golem was probably one of the strongest, if not the strongest, 2-drop in the entire game because of the stats. Elemental Shaman doesn't have anything comparative to Totem Golem. So your early game is not strong. However, speaking of strong, Earth Elemental there is insane. I love that card, I really do. As we progress through this game and we have more mana available to us, the overload of 3 on Earth Elemental isn't such a big deal. He's used in 1 brawl. There's going to be 2 in total in this deck. He's just used 1. Okay. So what we've got to do, and I think the strategy for winning this game against the warrior, is to bait out both brawls. If you can bait out both brawls, unless they play Deathwing, you're fine to then overcommit to the board and put pressure on it. So this board here will certainly not bait out a second brawl. But we can keep building slowly to this board. Okay, sure. Now we have Dr. 7 in our hand. Blaze Caller. It's a really good card. Unfortunately, we are overloaded. It can't be used. Although in this situation, not that it would be used. The trade and the heal was good there. And there, right there, is the value of the Hot Spring Guardian. Healing my own minion rather than my face. In the previous game, it healed my face twice against the Hunter. In this game, it's actually healing a minion. And therefore, he has to attack into it in order to execute it. So it's been executed, but look, it dealt 7 to his face. It did its job. That's the key thing. Okay. Blaze Caller, finally. And we're just going to hero power. We could play the thing from below, but we're not going to overcommit. I call this commitment. What I've got there, 5 things on board. I call that commitment, not overcommitment. So if he wants to brawl this board, he's welcome to. Sleep with the Fishes. Oh wow, okay. Now, what did that do? It's a good card in this context. It helped him to clear most of the board. It didn't kill the Blaze Caller, so he had to commit another execute. Let's keep count now. 2 executes are gone. 1 brawl is gone. Okay, so we have Jade Lightning. We have Jade Claws. Ooh, interesting. Is that for brawl? Usually it's, what is it, Dirty Rat into Brawl. That's interesting. I wonder if he has Brawl in hand and has just chosen not to use it yet, and he's just protecting his face. This is a good board to Brawl, if he's got it. He's very close to completing his quest, however, and that's when things get really interesting. Will he brawl? Does he have it? Yep, there it is. Second brawl. And I'm fine with that. I'm actually fine with that. And the reason I'm happy with that is because, look, there's Aya. She's a big threat. I mean, okay, the Golem's only a 1-1. But Aya's a 5-3. Okay, she's still a big body, and I have Jade cards. I have 2 Jade cards in my hand. So what are we going to get? A 2-2 from Aya, then a 3-3 from Jade Lightning, then a 4-4 from Jade Claws. We can actually ramp up a little bit. Sure, it's not as strong as playing a pure Jade Shaman, but it's still okay, right? What's the best way of doing this? We're giving him some armor, unfortunately. Yeah, I think this was fine. I don't want to reveal the Jade Claws just yet. And what I'm doing here is I'm just going super wide on the board. Super wide, because I know that quest is soon to be completed, and I know that that hero power of dealing 8 damage is going to be live very soon. So because he's used both brawls, if I go super wide on the board, hopefully that 8 damage hero power isn't going to do too much. Yep, going wide helped. It killed a useless minion. Now, the question is, do I have any kind of lethal here? 9, 10, 14... I don't think so. I can use Jade Claws and the 4-2 to trade. What does that leave me with? 9, 12, spell power. Is that lethal? Am I just overthinking this in a stupid way?
I wonder.
So 4-2 goes in. No. Alright, we've got mana to play the claws, the portal, and the lightning. Okay, come on. Yeah, it is lethal. The buff on the totem there, the extra buff there, yeah. Yeah, brilliant. Yeah, that took me a bit longer than expected, and I think sometimes you've got to trust in your instinct. I was counting and over-counting and counting again. Yeah. Oh, it's a pretty sweet win. Okay, going up against another warrior. Now, Maelstrom Portal is a good keep, because you genuinely don't know what kind of a warrior it is, right? Is it a pirate warrior? Is it a taunt warrior? You want to hedge your bets. Yeah, it's pirate warrior. Keeping Maelstrom Portal is a safe choice, I think, in my opinion. Because if it's pirate warrior, if you can't deal with the early board, you're just dead. Okay. And this is an important game for me, because it's a game that revolves around vengeance. I've lost the last 2 games that I've played. When facing Pirate Warrior, I've lost the last 2 games. They just had all of the aggro, and I didn't draw into any of my healing or any decent early game. So here, I'm hoping that I can take revenge and prove that this deck can beat Pirate Warrior. Now, we have 2 Flame Tongues here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to push damage. I'm actually going to be aggressive. The aim with this strategy is to protect my face. In theory, his War Axe will hit, yes, he's going to do it. It will... Oh no, he was thinking about it. In theory, he should be... Oh, that's strange. Okay. Yeah, what I was trying to do is divert damage from my face to what was on board. Because if I can survive without a good life total into the mid to late game, I win. It's that simple. Because I have Lightning Storm, I have Elementals that summon Elementals, I have Fire Elemental that can do 3 burst damage to something on the board. So I can pull this off, and if I can survive to Kalimos, I can heal myself and win. Speaking of healing, Here's +3. Hey, it all adds up against Pirate Warrior. And this is really important. This has now made me favoured, I think, to win the game. So I'm going to emote him with well played. Because in order to win, he needs the board and he needs to be doing constant damage. Especially to a class that has healing capability like Shaman. And there's the value of Fire Elemental. That felt so good. So very good. Now don't get me wrong, I'm still conscious of the fact that I could die at some point. I mean, warriors can do insane burst damage when they feel like it. So I'm not going to be overconfident here, but I have a Fire Elemental on board. I have Spell Power Totem, which is enhancing my Jade Lightning and my Lightning Storm. Now, remember when I said that warriors can do insane burst damage? Yeah, look, I'm at 11. I'm at 11. Just like that. Just like that. Am I in danger of dying? Well, no. Do I have lethal, firstly? 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13... 18! Yep, there we go! Wow! So that strategy earlier on of playing that initial Flame Tongue Totem and doing 6 to his face, that paid off. That paid off. Wow. Yeah, so if in doubt, be aggressive against Pirate Warrior. I think that's the lesson to be learned. That felt good. We didn't make a huge amount of progress there in terms of stars and ranks, but and the reason we didn't was because of Pirate Warrior. Every time I was about to streak, it was a Pirate Warrior that knocked me down. So that last win felt really, really good, taking down that Pirate Warrior. So what do I think of Dwayna's mid-range Jade Elemental Shaman deck? I love it. I really love this deck. I think it's better than the Kolento deck. For the reason that it runs 2 Maelstrom Portals, Kolento ran 1 copy. It runs double Lightning Storm, which is good against aggro. Kolento ran no Lightning Storms. The other reason I like this deck is it runs 2 copies of the Hot Spring Guardian. Kolento only ran 1. And against aggressive or even mid-range decks, double Hot Spring Guardian is really, really good. It's also a reasonable body to have on board in the early game. It has great utility because it can heal your face or heal a minion. So, thank you very much for joining me, everyone. I hope you enjoyed the video. Do give this deck a try on the ladder. Tell me what you think. And I'll see you all again very soon for more Hearthstone action.